Before we dive in, you're watching Enoch Unveiled. Every single day we go deeper into the Book of Enoch and reveal what it actually says. If you discover something new today, subscribe and turn on notifications. It's free. And what comes next is not something you want to miss. If you've read the Gospels, you know Jesus had a favorite title for himself. He didn't publicly call himself the Messiah. He called himself the Son of Man, over 80 times, more than any other self-designation. Scholars have debated this phrase for 2 centuries. Some say it was a humble expression, just another way of saying a human being. The Book of Enoch ends that debate, because the Son of Man appears in Enoch long before the New Testament. And in Enoch, he is not a humble figure. He is a cosmic judge who was named before the sun was created. The phrase begins in Daniel, chapter 7, verse 13. The prophet has a night vision. He sees the Ancient of Days seated on a throne with wheels of fire. Then he sees one like a son of man coming with the clouds of heaven. This figure approaches and is given dominion, glory, and a kingdom. All peoples, nations, and languages serve him. His kingdom is everlasting. That phrase, one like a son of man, means one in human form, not a beast. The other visions in Daniel feature beasts: lion, bear, leopard. The Son of Man stands in contrast, human in form, and given eternal dominion. Daniel says one like a son of man, not the Son of Man, not a named individual, just a figure in human form. First Enoch goes much further. In the Parables of Enoch, chapters 37 through 71, Enoch is transported to the heavenly throne room. He sees the Ancient of Days, white hair, blazing light, seated on a throne surrounded by angels beyond counting. But then Enoch sees something Daniel didn't describe. There is another figure standing beside the Ancient of Days, a different presence entirely. Enoch asks his angelic guide, "Who is that? Who is the one standing beside the Lord of Spirits?" The angel answers. First Enoch 46:2, "This is the Son of Man who has righteousness, with whom righteousness dwells, and who reveals all the treasures of what is hidden, because the Lord of Spirits has chosen him." This is not a form. This is a specific individual, named, chosen before creation began. The angel continues, "He will cast down the kings from their thrones, because they do not exalt him, and do not acknowledge from where their kingdom was given to them. He already has a seat in heaven. He already has a name, and the kings of the earth have no idea." Chapter 48 of First Enoch says something that sounds like the prologue of John's Gospel. Before the sun and the constellations were created, before the stars of heaven were made, his name was named before the Lord of Spirits. His name existed before the sun, before the stars. First Enoch 48:3. "He will be a staff to the righteous, that they may lean on him and not fall. He will be the light of the nations, and the hope of those who are troubled in their heart." Light of the nations, hope of the troubled, a staff for the righteous. If you are a Christian, you have heard someone described in exactly these words. The parables give this figure a second name, the elect one, the chosen one. Chapter 49 describes what he possesses: the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and power. He judges what is hidden. He sees the secret things. No one can conceal anything before him. From the moment his judgment begins, nothing done in darkness remains in darkness. He holds the full record of every concealed act, and he has the authority to render final verdict. In First Enoch, the Son of Man is not just a king. He is the one who sees everything and will say what it was. First Enoch chapter 62 is one of the most arresting passages in ancient literature. The kings, the governors, the powerful men of the earth. They look up and see the Son of Man seated on the throne of his glory. First Enoch 62:5. And pain shall seize them as a woman in labor has pain when her child enters the mouth of the womb. Verse 9. And the kings and the mighty and all who possess the earth shall bless and glorify and extol him, who rules over all. The people who never acknowledged him, who ruled the earth without knowing his name, fall on their faces. Pain, terror, and then, too late, acknowledgement. But for the righteous, something completely different. First Enoch 62:14. And the righteous and elect shall be saved on that day, and they shall never thenceforward see the face of the sinners and unrighteous. And the Lord of spirits will abide over them. And with that Son of Man shall they eat and lie down and rise up for ever and ever. Eat and lie down and rise up. The language of a household, a shared daily life, not worship from a distance, intimacy. The ancient Enochic picture of eternal life is not floating in clouds. It is a table, a name you know, a forever dwelling with the Son of Man himself. When Jesus stood before the high priest and said, "You will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power, coming on the clouds of heaven," the high priest tore his garments, called it blasphemy. He wasn't reacting to a humble phrase meaning a human being. He was reacting to a cosmic claim. The pre-existent elect one, seated on the throne of glory, the figure before whom kings fall in terror. The Book of Enoch was not obscure in the first century. Jude quotes it. The Dead Sea Scrolls preserved 12 copies. The title, Son of Man, was loaded. Every Jewish listener knew what it meant, and Jesus chose it anyway. Every single time. The Parables of Enoch describe a figure who was named before the sun was created, who sits on a throne of glory, and who will judge every hidden act of every person who has lived. A figure called the Son of Man. A figure called the Elect One. For 2,000 years, the book that contains his full description has sat outside the canon, read by almost no one. If you have never read the Book of Enoch, you have been missing the framework that makes the New Testament say exactly what it says. That changes starting now. Subscribe to Enoch Unveiled. Every day we go deeper into the ancient texts that shaped everything, and that most people will never read. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming.